So, welcome to our Pathwork village, and this is a safe place. What makes it that way is we don't judge each other and support each other in releasing any judgment of ourself. We're holding the reality here that we humans, each one of us, are just at the beginning of our journey, on our way to becoming something more wonderful than we can imagine. And it's both an opportunity and a privilege to come together here, light beings that we are. We're here to give ourselves a piece of our heart instead of a piece of our mind. And we're here to help each other be the love that we may have never received. As Kabir says, the river that flows in you also flows in me. There's a part of you in every one of us. There's a part of us in you. And the Pathwork Guide reminds us a great stream of divine strength and blessings is streaming all around you and through you as a powerful yet peaceful and gentle force. Feel this energy right now, like a just right sun on a not too hot day. Feel it on your skin, gently warming any part of you that feels cold, stiff, numb. The more we allow ourselves to feel it, the better it is. Feel it like the pleasure current it is, calmly filling any place you allow to open. Feel it like a creative current, a healing flow, an infusion of wisdom. It is all these things. Attune yourself to it. Ask for its help, for a deeper understanding than ever before. Let's consciously breathe it in together now. And as we do, feel the ingoing breath already meeting this energy inside of us. It permeates every particle of our being on every level, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Feel the blissful. It's right here, right now. Nothing to do to get it. And as we allow it more and more, it's enlivening and at the same time peaceful. This is what is real. Any moments where we find ourselves out of touch with this is the great illusion. There is nothing to do but be willing to allow, to feel our natural desire for aliveness and pleasure. This is wholeness right here and now. Anytime we say yes. This is the life force itself. The reality in all that lives and breathes. It permeates every particle of existence. And so also exists deep in our psyche, whether we are aware of it or not. This force is not only in you, it is you. Where you doubt it, distrust it, block it, you are divided against yourself. So we're going to go inside in a moment, and I want to say that the hardest thing and the easiest thing is the same thing. Just to be still. Just to stop everything. All thinking, all emotions, all strategizing, all trying, all doing. Just feeling the longing and desire to stop everything is enough. Things will not stop immediately, yet they will begin to slow down and continue to slow down. It's not about trying, simply about aligning with a longing to be free. So as we begin, give your heart's consent to feel your longing and clear intention to have a deep drink at this well together. Letting the eyes soften, go inside, and as we say, it begins with a direction, going inside, and yet we're entering a dimension. It's already here, waiting. Waiting for me, waiting for you. Let the breath breathe you without your doing anything. The breath knows what to do. Let everything go, just like that. Know that whatever you seek is seeking you and already here. Let yourself go. past thoughts into silence, past silence into stillness, past stillness into the heart. Remember, who you are is already free. Keep coming back to the intention and longing just to let all the thoughts go. All the emotions go for now, just like that. Trust the intention and the longing are enough. Even if thoughts and emotions remain, they're now much less potent. Listen to the silence. It's telling the truth. Listen to your silence. It will feed you forever. Just be in this moment completely. And the future will take care of itself. Let's take a few moments together and just soak this energy up. Very slowly in your own sweet time. Gently letting part of you come back, part of you staying here. Taking all the time you wish just to let the eyes open when they're ready and drink in the faces here. Real people. And just letting a breath out with some sound if you feel like it. So we'll do our go rounds, and as many of you know, just to say your name and where you are on the planet, and a few words about what you're noticing in you right now. And anyone can begin.
Morning, everybody. Hi, Brian. Nice to see your face. I'm Judy. I'm in Toronto, Canada, and I'm enjoying the weather. I'm just came in from gardening. It's nice to see everybody. Nice to be here.
Welcome, Judy. Glad you're here.
Hello, I'm Iracema. I am in Belo Horizonte, Brazil, and now I'd like not to control everything around me about my life, my mother's life, everyone's life. I want to release.
Glad you're here, Erasma.
Hello, everybody. I'm Saida, and I'm in Copenhagen. And we also have a nice weather today. And I feel very much comfortable and very happy to connect here with you all.
We're happy to see you, Said.
Hi, I'll go. I'm Jim Walker from Red Lake, Ontario, Canada. And yeah, I'm just happy to be here and soaking in everybody's good energy.
Great to have you, Jim.
Hi, my name is Elisa. I'm connecting from the central part of Italy. And I feel, yes, I'm feeling a relief during this meditation. I felt a profound sense of relief and lightness. Thank you to all.
Great to have you, Elisa.
Hi, it's Karen. I'm so happy to be here. I was just sitting down eating, and you came to my mind, Brian, and I went, oh, everybody's gathering today, so I thought I'd hop on. So I'm really happy to be here. Much love.
Much love, Karen.
Hi, I'm Esther Mulroy, and I live in Swampscott, Massachusetts. And I too am very happy to be here. It's a nice, safe place.
Thank you, Esther. Glad you're here.
I'm Frank. I'm in Richmond, Virginia. And it is nice to be here this sunny Sunday morning. Weather's great outside, but it feels also real nice to be inside in my sanctuary with this group of people. Thank you, Brian.
Great to have you, Frank.
Hello, I'm Chris, and I too am very glad to be here. I've been looking forward to this. It's a gorgeous day in Charlottesville, where I am, 80 degrees. I am disappointed that my video isn't working. I don't know why, but that is a bit disconcerting. I I'm recovering from hip replacement surgery, and things have been going very, very well. I am in a bit of discomfort at the moment. It's a little surprising. It kind of comes and goes, but that's just happening right now. It's not terrible, but it is a bit uncomfortable. If I end up having to leave, that's why, but I think I'll be okay. So great to be here.
Great to have you, Chris. Glad for the good surgery report.
Thank you.
Chris, you might just need to relaunch your Zoom application.
You know, I did that. I went out completely. It seems it just simply showed up when I opened the Zoom, and I've gone through different steps in terms of looking for things. So I went out completely and came back in.
Mhm.
So I may just have to tolerate it for right now.
Mhm. Equanimity can be hard sometimes.
Yes.
That's when we really know we don't control things, or as someone right with our devices.
Yes.
They just kind of laugh.
So I'm here. Totally here.
Okay, let's see who else. And there's a few of you. Go ahead, Lene.
Yes. Hi, everyone. I'm in Rome with Sasha, my son. And
Sasha.
Hello.
And yeah, I'm just happy to be here, feeling grateful and very, very quiet, which is lovely.
Mhm. Welcome as you are, Lene, and you too, Sasha. So Dawn and Bob, we're open to your sharing if you'd like.
Yes, good morning, everyone. My name is Dawn, and I'm calling from Portland, Oregon. And thank you, Brian, for welcoming us into this deeper space. I so welcome it, and I thank you so much for your beautiful words.
Thank you, Dawn, for being part of our co-creation and collaboration here. And Bob and Inez, to see if there's...
Hello, I'm Inês, and I'm from Portugal. It's a pleasure to be here. I follow Pathwork to study and deepen my self-knowledge, being present and observing my feelings. Thank you.
Welcome, Inez. Glad you're here. And Bob. Okay, and Bob, you can speak up anytime. We'd love to hear from you. So my name is Brian. I'm from Chapel Hill, North Carolina. And I'm really glad to be here. I missed last month. I missed you. And I'm just soaking up. There's a certain sweetness to the energy today that I'm feeling here. And of course, I like being spontaneous in what I bring, and yet also there's a certain amount of preparation that I do. And it seems strange to be talking about what I brought today around struggle when everything is so sunny and wonderful and we're just enjoying it. Yet it's wonderful to have some relief from our struggles because they're there frequently, right? So one of the things that I love about this work is the understanding that just because I'm struggling does not mean that I'm failing. Right? And I, like many of us, have this dualistic idea that if I'm struggling, there's something wrong, and if I'm not, all is well. And, you know, as we know, struggle is just an intrinsic part of our humanity. Okay. I also wanted to bring in the word trauma today, because what I've come to understand is in my work with myself and with many others I'm blessed to work with, is just being a human being is traumatic, right? And what do I mean by that? Well, that there are many times we're going through so many challenges and emotions all at once that we're overwhelmed. We forget who we really are and start to identify ourselves as somehow being deficient, being less than, not being enough, being a failure. I also am aware that, as I'm talking about trauma, that Chris, you're a therapist with long experience in trauma, and I'm not here to offer clinical ways of dealing with it. It's more from the spiritual perspective of this work. And, you know, in the Pathwork, we do a lot of digging in to our past to understand what brought us here, to understand the defenses that we adopted, the patterns of behavior, right? Yet, as many of you that have been coming to Pathwork Connect for some time are familiar with, what we do here is just feel whatever the feelings and emotions are without the stories about the past. And it's interesting that some clinical modalities now are actually dovetailing that healing trauma, healing the places that we feel broken, is about being here now and just simply learning to tolerate whatever the emotions and feelings are right now, no matter how overwhelming. You know, we learn we can't release what we won't feel, so instead of thinking about it, we're called to feel it, to let it go. Yet, I'm aware that, you know, these emotions that are part of our trauma, part of our struggle, part of our pain body, are really difficult to turn to because we've had them for so long, they feel so overwhelming. We really don't know what to do but try to avoid them or run away from them. And yet, you know, the healing comes from, as we all know, the turning to. And, you know, in my saying this, it sounds like I'm speaking conceptually. Just in the last few days, I've had a new, deeper level of letting go of my own core wounding, my own struggle with the way I see myself as broken, unlovable failure in life. Right? And I've been deeply moved by how those feelings, those emotions became a smaller part of my identity as I did that. And also felt some love coming in to the places I felt all alone, you know, the places where I feel what for me is the most challenging of all my emotions, the illusion of loneliness, right? That seems so real. So at the beginning of our gathering, we had a drink at the well of who we really are as spiritual beings in temporary human form, right? That's actually the larger part of us that we're here to reflect to each other. And the part that I'm speaking from and to now is from the human part that so often forgets who we really are, right? So what I'd like to do now is invite us to go back inside, just gently letting the eyes soften. And visualize yourself back in the womb. Before this birth, even before this incarnatory event. And notice you're floating in stillness. In calm. Warmth. Completely held and supported. You feel nourished. Your hand reaches down to your belly and feels a golden umbilicus connecting you to life. It's pulsing gently, like a heartbeat. You feel anything and everything you could ever want and need flowing into you. You notice all that is not needed leaving you through the umbilicus back to life. Distress, pain, loneliness, abandonment, confusion, bewilderment, all being carried away, and fresh energy coming in and taking their place. Now you breathe easier. and more naturally. Your inhale with each pulse of the umbilicus, taking in all of life. Your exhale, releasing whatever is not your true nature. There is such peace and calm here, you can stay forever. And so you just allow this pure experience of simply being. Suddenly you feel a great movement and burst of light as you come into the world. You see all your previous lives before you in such a way, the hero's journey in every small step is visible. No matter how steep the climb, no matter any previous emotion or thought of your being less than or not enough. Your hand returns to your belly, and lo, the umbilicus is still there. You realize it's a part of you now. Feel the ongoing nourishment coming in. The steady release of all that is not true going out. All is well. And as you're ready, gently coming back, yet leaving an opening to this place. So making room for the silence that's here, sweet silence, and also the freedom to say anything, express anything. We have open space here today just to see what arises in our being together.
Right, Karen? That was really beautiful, really beautiful. I'm feeling very deeply in my heart right now, a lot of love and acceptance. And something came to me this morning that came to me again, is that I feel like I've had a lot of trauma and stuff, but a lot of healing is going on, and I'm in a new place. I'm actually here now, and that's the most beautiful thing. But I realize what comes to me is by emptying my vessel of everything I'm not, but feeling it, just like was described, I realized who I truly am. And these are words, it's not in my head, it's in my heart, it's in my being. And as a result, what's happened in my experience is that an attachment to the past is no longer present. It's not that memories can't come up, but I'm not in bondage, is what it feels like. And no longer to the future, because I had so many worries. But I realized by detaching, I'm here, I'm present, I am so alive. And that is the most important thing to me now, is my spirit. And I've been getting some things and inner guidance. And I'm just realizing so many beautiful things. And I feel so grateful to be alive. I really feel like a reborn. So this, what we just did was so beautiful to me. And I really feel present in life. And it's the most beautiful experience. I really can't put words to it because I was always in a concept in my head. But now it's a really beautiful experience. So I just thought I'd share that today. I feel safe here. I feel love, and I feel a lot of acceptance. So thank you for letting me share that. I love you all so much.
Wow.
I'm free.
It reminds me what you're sharing, Karen, of the guide's phrase, nothing has changed and everything is different. Right?
Beautifully expressed.
Yeah, it's not about the outer events changing. It's something about our response. So, Karen, you're the poster child today for what happens when we really discover and uncover and release all the negative ways we've been talking to ourselves all our life, echoing the voices that we've heard early in life, right? And begin to speak to ourselves with patience and kindness, understanding, care. You know, being the love we never received. And I'm inspired to stay with it and do my own next layer deeper.
So this is so much encouraging what you're saying, Karen and Brian, because we talked about at the beginning, Brian, you said that yes, I also felt a second release in this second meditation we did, and or talk or whatever, and I could feel back how I felt this last 2 weeks, yes, where I felt the core, the core wound which is linked to the blind love I had with my father. So I never felt, or I always felt I'm not myself. I'm not myself. I'm not me. I'm not me. And so I always feel, very often I feel like I'm not living my life. I'm not living my life. And so what comes up here and is actually so I and hope to bring that also into the outside world. But at the beginning is this step. The first step is this one, to feel this one, and then you begin. You can express how somehow think to express or not think, or it will maybe yes go from its own. But it was so much encouraging, and I feel so much relief and lightness, and I'm so happy to share this with you. This is really something very deep and caring since a long time. And thank you very much. I'm grateful to be with you.
Thank you, Elisa.
I was experiencing being in the womb. At first, I was knowing that I might be getting my mother's energy. So at first I was like, okay, just, try not to go there, just be in the nice restful water of the energy of being totally taken care of with everything that I'd want and need, and that my body cells were growing and changing, and I was becoming more like limbs were coming and whatever that would grow in utero. And then coming out, just that shock of light in my eyes, because my eyes are sensitive anyway. And also knowing the umbilical cord is cut was also a shock. So then I began to see that some of the feelings that I might have in my body are related to just that experience of having everything that I wanted being right there on hand, and then suddenly not, which is maybe a fear. And so I have been noticing fear. That could be another place of it.
Yeah.
Than not having what I wanted in this life, in parts of it.
Right.
Not fitting into whatever and facing it now, and then hearing Karen say how the hope, that you can detach, from some of those stories.
Right. Yeah.
Forward. I'm working on a project now, and to step out and speak up is like climbing stairs for me. The first part of meditation, with everything that comes up. What will somebody think of me? Or I want to say this anonymously. So, so I am feeling like I am climbing up some of those stairs to speak up.
Esther, the shock that you describe at birth is, of course, so real and so intense. It's like an earthquake. Yet, part of the guided experience today is there's a very real umbilicus connecting us to life that is just as real as the one that we had inside the womb, right? Like that, the mystery of that connection to our larger divine nature, right? And that may be a useful meditation, to see if you can feel that. Put your hands there and just ask to feel it, right? Ask to feel life really wanting to nourish. I really want to experience life nourishing me, caring for me, right? Like, I see a smile.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, good to remember.
It's very real. That's the world that on the inside is more real than the world on the outside. What we create in our active imagination We say that with an uppercase A and I. It's a spiritual practice, right?
Mm.
It's more real than any outer event of history. Right? The forces of healing we can bring to ourself are greater than any pain or trauma that we've been through. You know, that vast force that we called in at the beginning is just moving through us, wanting to come into every place that's cold, lost, hurt, doubting, right? And you know, it's really Susan Thasenga who got me started on this a couple of years ago. She kept going on and on about second stage pathwork, and I was very resistant. It's like, I'm really good at the first stage. Find those images, right? Uncover those vicious circles, bring them out into the open, all of that, right? And of course, it's utterly valuable and necessary. Yet I've really come to see in just the last couple of years how we do all that so that we can just let it all go and realize that's not who we are. Right? It's who we thought we were. Right? Who we are, actually spiritual beings in temporary human disguise, right? And yet what we're learning here is how much of our attention goes into the crippled human part of us, right? And we forget that's just the means to the gift that we took on to come into this incarnation to transform consciousness. And if it wasn't totally painful and totally confusing, it wouldn't be the raw material for the transformation of consciousness. So we're letting go of our identification that means anything is wrong with us or damaged or and I'm going on and on here because I'm feeling my own joy and relief, right? I thought I was going to die feeling like a broken person. So, you know, learning to love in a real way with an uppercase L, the very part of us that we've been trying to get rid of, you know. It's what I hear you saying in some ways, Karen, you know, that so who else is noticing something moving in you here or someplace that feels stuck? They're both welcome, equally welcome. Elena.
You saw me go like this, and then I was kind of thinking maybe I won't share. Oh, thank you, Brian. Yeah, I just I'm not quite sure what I feel like sharing. I just wanted to kind of mirror back this deep letting go related also to trauma, actually. My experience is more and more that, you know, that which is say reactions or the bodily kind of responses to certain stimuli that which is that who I am is essentially not touched by that. But even now, you know what I mean? Like maybe I'll go back to a past event and see that even then the pain was just that sense that somehow love was lacking, but that actually it was always there. I think I'll be able to finish what I'm saying. But I still, I get these tests. Can I talk, Paul? Yesterday we went.
No, you can't talk.
Okay, I'll try. Otherwise, I'll have to mute. Sorry. It's like somehow you feel like, okay, I need to manage these responses. Like I have to, cope. And what's happening more is this deep letting go of just not trying to fix so like yesterday we stayed with a friend of mine and falling asleep, and then the neighbor's dog starts like barking, but like literally not stopping for an hour, like the whole neighborhood, and it kind of awoke this very this sense of feeling really trapped, and like I was getting and eventually I went on the balcony and actually talked to the dog.
I didn't hear you.
Yeah, you were sleeping, but I couldn't sleep. And the dog went back into the kennel, because his owner had left the house, so he was obviously feeling lonely and scared. And then I went back into the room, and then I thought, that's it. And then the dog started again. And I just noticed how I was just like, you know what? That voice of like, oh, look at you, all of this work you've done, and that you still can't sleep when a dog is barking. I mean, this thing. And then I was like, I can't sleep. And I just accepted it. And then it was and then I actually fell asleep. So it's that fighting the fact that you should somehow have, okay. And I'll thank you. Okay.
Yeah, there's dogs and there's puppies. Thank you, Eleni. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that it's really about kindness, isn't it? Like, otherwise it's just a theory.
Yeah. And not feeling trapped by the physical response. That's a big one for me. Just noticing, oh, my third chakra is just falling all over the floor, right? Like, I have this thought, like, I'm going to be miserable now. And it's just, okay, that's just a physical response. Sasha, did you want to say something? Okay.
This is Chris again. I wanted to add, I just want to say, I appreciate everything that's been said, and I really appreciate, your words this morning, Brian, and you're talking my language as to how much our birth affects, rest of our lives. And I want to say, Karen, I really, I'm inspired by your lovely sharing, and thank you. For myself, I guess I am in acceptance. I am putting intention to accepting where I am at this moment, which is, I'm having some discomfort, and it's actually, I guess, kind of a good thing I'm not being seen is that I'm needing to move around a lot. And also accepting that, it's helpful to me to think about this life as a dream, as an illusion, and it helps me feel some differentiation so that I can connect more with or move towards the real me. There's a felt sense of differentiation from the story. That's what I'd say. That makes sense. It's helpful. And it seems like my challenge is, I'm just aware of attachments to things that are probably not so helpful, like, food and just, attaching to watching sort of TV and not, I feel a certain amount of guilt about not attending more to spiritual practice. That's where I'm going with this. And yet there's a resistance at the same time. So that's my struggle.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, that comes.
We know because of the guilt that it's not your higher self saying you should be doing spiritual practice, right? It's coming from the inner critic, right? It's really revealing how the inner critic, a minion of the lower self, they're very quick to sound like they're trying to make us a better person, right?
Thank you. That's really helpful, to be reminded of that. Because
and the dead giveaway is the energy that we feel.
Yeah, thank you.
If it doesn't feel loving and kind and caring and like, oh my.
Or shoulds, yes.
We're shoulding on ourselves, yeah.
Yeah, that, thank you. I needed that reminder. I was reading an article about anyway, just that Jesus does intend for us to help the poor and the downtrodden, and that just brought out the fundamentalist guilt. I just want to go, no.
Yeah.
So, okay, these are some of my strengths. But thank you for the reminder that yes, the energy lets me know that that's not, it's not the open heart, loving place that I'm looking for. So thank you. Yes.
I was thinking about what Chris has just said, and it comes to me what your higher self would really say to you. Maybe just relax, accept yourself. Sometimes it happens to me many, many times. And not to, I don't know how to say that in English. Cool. Just relax and accept, because we are human beings. And I would like always to be a superwoman, but I'm not.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that support. That does mean a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Erasma. That was I'm going to store some of that away in my pocket. It reminds me of that cartoon I saw of somebody at Heaven's Gate. And St. Peter was checking them in, right? And St. Peter was saying, no, that's not a sin either. You must have worried yourself to death.
I would like to hear a little bit more about this second phase pathwork. I don't think I've heard that term before. I know that when I first started Pathworks, I did a lot of work with Darlene Rollins, who's amazing.
Mhm.
And she'd always say this thing to me, and I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. She'd say, question your thoughts. Like, just because you have this feeling inside of you that I'm afraid or powerless or I've done something wrong, or she would say, is it true? Like, question it. And I wouldn't be able to have that objective observer position where I could actually have that kind of dialogue with myself.
Mhm.
But the more that I'm learning and trying and exploring and looking, looking, I've recently been able to see how much of a lie my powerlessness has been, how much of a story I've allowed myself to tell myself.
Mhm.
And simply questioning, am I really, is it true? What about creative consciousness? Is this just an old habit as opposed to the truth?
Mhm.
So is this what you're talking about, this second phase pathwork?
Well, I want to say again how I resisted that phrase because I don't like any whiff of duality, right? So I don't call it the second phase. It's more like mobility and relaxation is a phrase the guide uses, even a title of one of the lectures, right? That there's this balance between the doing and the letting go. So an important part of the doing is really what you're saying of asking, is this true? And really having some rigor with that. Like, I know I believed it all my life, but is it really true, right? The relaxation, which is, use that phrase, second phase pathwork, is really with the guide, the phrase uses shifting our identification to the spiritual self, really starting to see, and it's a process that we are 99.9% identified with the human side of our being. Because it wouldn't be the work of transforming consciousness without it being so challenging and daunting, right? And in an upcoming Pathwork Connect, I would like to do a presentation on the guide's teachings around preparation for incarnation, which goes into getting ready for this very specific incarnation we're each on, right? And an essential part of it is that we forget everything we knew before we became incarnate, right? And so we're locked in this small little room of our human identification and trying to find our way out by looking at the ways our human identification is defective and biased and subjective. And that's of great value. Yet it only gets us so far, right? So we're looking at what can I do to begin to grow an experience of myself as an angel in temporary human form, right? Which is really another way of saying spiritual being in temporary human disguise, right? And usually what we find in the beginning is like, yeah, that sounds wonderful, but I can't connect with that, right? Okay, that's an honest place to start. And yet, as we said in the beginning around going into stillness, remember our superpower is our longing to, I don't know how to do it, I just long for a taste of that, right? That sets a spiritual process in motion, right? And to stay with that longing, like I Was that it? I don't know. I couldn't tell, you know, I can't connect with it. To keep coming back, I really want to know who I really am. You know, to say that like a prayer every day is the most powerful prayer we can make. Because once we start to uncover and experience who we really are, the problems of a lifetime become smaller, right? Remember, the guide says these problems that we've had all our life are temporary. The guide also tells us, assures us that our transformation is inevitable. It's going to happen. Nothing's going to stop it. Right? It's really good to let that in, right? That this is part of the fuel in our longing is making room for that experience, because it starts coming in at a little at a time. Like, wow, I just feel so free right now. Well, where is that coming from? Well, I'm just feeling like all is well, no matter what's going on. Well, that's the spiritual being, right? That doesn't look at our struggles through the lens of success or failure, right? Good or bad, sacred or profane, right? So I've been singing this song for a while now because I can see how caught I was in just trying to make myself a better person by following all the Pathwork steps on the more doing level, the mobility level, right? Look at this image, look at that illusion, right? And yet, what is so hard to communicate is how just letting all that go, even for a few moments, to stop doing everything, stop trying to be a better person. Now, this larger reality of who we are starts coming into our awareness. We can feel it, we can see it. Right? Yet long as we're caught in the doing, no matter how good our intentions are, we're stuck in the doing, right? And I want to say, with great kindness and compassion and understanding, if this sounds vague and sort of theoretical, what you want to consider is you're experiencing a place very common to our humble humanity, where the mind is in control and will not let the deeper reality of who we are in, because the mind is totally afraid of it, right? The mind knows it can't control it. The mind would rather control things even if it makes us miserable. Right? Yeah, you know, the lectures on surrender, the guy keeps saying, where humans have a basic fear of surrender. Okay, so where is mine? It's not a weakness or a flaw. It's part of my human journey. Right? And the fundamental fear is, if we surrender, there won't be any there, right? There'll just be nothingness. And there's not nothingness, there is emptiness, yet it's that creative emptiness now where we're open to those experiences of who we've been all along, right? And who will be carrying into the next incarnation on the spiritual level, right? I feel like that was a few too many words, but I'm passionate about this because it's changed my life, you know.
I'd like to share on that just for a moment. That was really beautiful because what came to my mind when you were doing the meditation with the birth is that there's also like a spiritual birth of being human, and like you were describing, a process of remembering who I truly am. And then the light, it's like, wow, it's bright. Wow, I can feel love. I understand things that aren't spoken. This is a whole new way of being. This is another type of birth. So, and a new experience. And I'm not quite sure why I was inspired to say that, but I just follow the prompts that I get within. But I feel it's so important because I feel like that's what's occurring in my own life, and what you're describing is, rather than at some point, it's just, surrender, detachment, and a new birthing of this, my spiritual. And then I'm realizing that is who I am.
Right.
And then it's a new way of being in this world. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. So when we're not able to connect with who we really are as spiritual beings in human form, right? Not to fall for, I can't connect with my true nature, right? To allow the thought, my mind, my human mind, has got a grip on me and is keeping me away from the experience of who I really am, right? Because when we feel like we can't, we stop trying, right? It feeds that, oh, there's something wrong with me. Other people can do that, but I can't. Brian can, but I can't, right? And let me say, there are times when I can't, right? Yet I'm starting to see more and more this is just a temporary state where most of my life, including a lot of my life in the pathwork, was other people can do it, but I can't, right? There's something wrong with me. Every one of us is a spiritual being in human form. And when we're stuck in the human side of it, we need to ask the spiritual side for help. Like, help, I feel stuck. I don't even know who you are. Help me see you, help me feel you, right? What we're aware of often as human beings is our wanting to connect with our spiritual side. Yet, remember, the spiritual side is just as devoted to connecting with us, with the human, and has all of heaven and earth on its side, right? And this is where that phrase you hear so often in this work that's so powerful, whenever we feel like I can't, try saying I won't, right? Because that's actually what's happening. The mind is saying, I won't connect with that. No. Right? Frank, I saw you cross your arms, and I was wondering if you were going to say something. Okay.
I don't know. I had a thought when you were doing the meditation. I was thinking about when I was young, how I used to lie with my feet underneath the television. You know, we had this console television that was sitting on feet. I used to lie with my feet underneath the television and get my face like very close. Maybe because my eyesight was bad. I didn't, at that point, I had not realized that I needed glasses, But also, I kind of had the feeling that I was like, that was my little place of escape, Within my family, within all the chaos that was going on around me, even at that young age, I was searching for that little place of escape. And I still feel that,
Yeah.
I'm almost going to be 70 years old in August, and I still feel that it's like, where's my little place of escape, And I always come back. I call it my sanctuary. My apartment is my sanctuary. I live alone. And I have such an attachment to my little place of escape. It started when I was very young. That's kind of about what's in my soul right now, And there's a part of me that feels like, that's like a negative thing. That, okay, well, how are you ever going to become one with everything?
Right.
If you have this super need.
Yeah. And what's the energy in that voice?
Yeah. Well, the energy of like, how am I ever going to become one? That's the critic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
but what's the energy that's going on in that need?
Yeah.
In that place of seclusion.
So we're going to leave it here because we're at the end yet. What I want to say, I love when the guide says, you've never been closer than you are right now. Man. Okay. Phew. What a relief. So I invite us to close our eyes for a moment and just see, however clearly or vaguely or not at all, you can see, experience your spiritual self. Wherever you are on that, that's just where you are, that's all. And you hear a voice and it's familiar and you know where it's coming from. Even if you can't see who's saying it, and it says, I'm here with you. Don't ever forget, I'm here with you. And taking yourself off mute and then coming to the faces on the screen and really sharing that. I'm here with you.
I'm here with you.
I'm here with you. I'm here with you, Sasha.
I'm here with you. I'm here with you. Even though you can't see me, I'm here with you.
I'm here with you, Bob. I'm here with you, Sasha.
I'm here with you all.
I'm here with you, Karen. I'm here with you, Brian.
I'm here with you, Brian.
I'm here with you.
Thank you, everybody. You're beautiful, and I love you.
Thank you. I love you too. All of
Thank
you.
you. Love to
Beautiful
everyone.
day.
And anyone who wants to stick around for coffee and donuts, please do so for a few minutes.